You know, I never used a Cudy router before, and they contacted me and said, hey, do you want to take a look at our fancy 11,000 router? Look at this, the BE11000. So this is loaded. And, you know, the thing about Cudy is that I started looking around online. I was like, they offer a lot for the money. And I started looking at some of the reviews and then looked at some comments on Reddit. And I was like, yeah, I think I'd like to take a look at this, because it seems like the unanimous opinion was that they offered a lot for the money and they seem to be using quality components. So let's take a look at what we have right here. Look at all these antennas. You got 6 antennas coming out of this Wi-Fi 7 router. We've also got 2.5 gigabit Ethernet all the way around. Not all the way around the physical unit. That would be silly. Just every unit is, you get the idea. We also have a Qualcomm CPU, meaning ARM powered, meaning extremely low power, and it's really fast. It's a Qualcomm 1.5 gigahertz A53 Quad-Core. I always use OEM keys. I grab them over at whokeys.com. This is the price you're going to pay for Windows 11 Pro if you get a retail key. Let's check those prices on whokeys.com. $30, you know, we can do better. Put in TS25, click apply. There we go, $23.22. You got Windows 11 Pro, Windows 11 Home, Windows 10 Home, and we have a couple different flavors of LTSC. 2021 gets updates until 2027, and the 2021 IoT edition gets updates until 2032. Also, if you're sick of paying that monthly fee for Office, you can get an offline version of Office. They've got 2019 and 2016. You know, 2016 will get most people by, in my opinion. You can also use the coupon code TS25 on these to save 25% on this as well. Let's go ahead and check out with our copy of Windows 11 Pro. All right, just put in my card info. There we go. Click on View Keys and Codes. Once you get to the User Center, click on Get the Key. You'll see your key right here in the middle. Go ahead and highlight that, copy that, press Start, and then type Activate. You'll see Activation Settings. Go ahead and click on that. And then right here it says Not Active. Just click on Change Product Key. Paste in our product key and then click on Activate. Hey, look at that, active. Head over to whokeys.com. Thanks to them for sponsoring. And now on to our regularly scheduled program. Let's just go through all the specs right now. I guess that's what we're doing. Wi-Fi 7 is quad band. The max is 10.7 gigabits per second, and that's absurd. But the main thing about that is you're not going to be getting 10 gigabits per second on one machine. That just gives you a lot of overhead to have multiple machines doing multiple things and streaming multiple things at the same time. So I thought I had a Wi-Fi 7 mini PC around here. I guess I only have Wi-Fi 6E, so I'm going to be testing it as best I can with Wi-Fi 6E, but that's already so fast that it's kind of ridiculous. On the back, everything's 2.5 gigabit with the Ethernet ports. I already mentioned that. And then it will support 6 streams at the fastest speeds you can imagine. Melt your mind. I can't test 6 devices. I don't have 6 of them to test, but you know. So all these ridiculous antennas we've got going on there for beamforming and everything else. So as far as the different antenna coverage goes, we have all of the antennas. We've got our 6 gigahertz antenna for Wi-Fi 6E and also Wi-Fi 7. We've got our 5 gigahertz antenna for Wi-Fi 5 point whatever. And then we also have 2.4 gigahertz antenna. And that's especially useful if you're someone who uses smart home devices or whatever that need to connect, like you got a light bulb and an app that's offline and you want to connect it. Well, that's how you do it. Like I said, you got all kinds of bands doing stuff. The antennas are huge. They're high gain, high power FEM antennas. I was able to do all my tests. I did all my tests with about 20 feet and a wall and a half or 2 walls in between myself and the router. So when you see the test, just note that it's 20, 30 feet away, maybe 20 feet away, 2 walls in between me and the router. All right, so that's the physical unit. I mean, it's a router after all. And I think what we need to know is how fast it is and how's the software, because that's the 2 things that matter the most, right? So let's go ahead and just check out the software. Okay, the firmware looks to be pretty full featured. Right here is just your first system status page, and it shows all the details. Let's go ahead. There's our quick setup, which is what you go through when you first plug it in. Over here's our general settings, and that's just, you can set up your different WAN modes. You can enable a VPN. I kind of skipped over the wireless internet service provider. You can turn that on if you want to and have separate networks, whatever. There's your wireless connectivity, and you have all kinds of different antennas. Oh yeah, 6G. And we also have multi-link operation, but you really need to make sure all your Wi-Fi 7 devices support this, or else it'll just be noise and all that. If you're running a mixed network and you have a bunch of 6G stuff as well, like I do, I've got Wi-Fi 6 stuff. I guess Wi-Fi 7 6G as well, but I'm saying I've got a bunch of Wi-Fi 6 stuff, so I'm going to leave that off. But if your entire network supports this, you'll get better throughput, I suppose. So down here on VPN, well, it's not just VPN. We have all the different clients down here, but we also have WireGuard client. We can run a WireGuard server right here, which will give us access to, you can pick just internet or internet and local network. And what this means is that you can set this up so that you can connect to your local network from somewhere else. And it's an encrypted tunnel as well. So I like the fact that we have WireGuard. I've not messed around with zero tier. We got an open VPN you can use as well. So all that stuff right here on board. I use that on, I've got a little VM for that. So I'll continue to do it that way until until I want to switch over. Captive portal you can turn on and off, and there's your firmware upgrade. I have it set to not auto update because I want to be in charge of when it updates, but you can do you. So yeah, you got parental controls, set up different web filters, blacklist, whitelist, and then add different things to the blacklist and whitelist, like Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. That'd be great. Yes, maybe I'll do that. And doesn't even need to be parental controls, but anyway, delete profile. I don't need that for now. Let's get on over to the advanced settings. So, all right, there's our basic LAN setup. This is the IP address of the router, basic stuff. You can set up guest networks on here. And this is cool because you can, have one network for all your devices. And then if you have friends over, you can be like, all right, I've got a guest network enabled right here on the 5G. And you can come in and, set that up, give it a name, give it encryption. And that way people will not have access to your servers or whatever else is on your, whatever else is on there. You can enable the access filter and all that stuff. So you can run this as a DHCP server or not, whatever. I'm going to run mine as a wireless access point, but yeah, you put in your DNS here if you got a Pi-hole or something. IPv6, anybody using that yet? This is snooping for, I think, UPnP devices or DLNA, that's what I'm looking for. So you can leave this on. I would probably just leave this on. And that way it's not going to have your DLNA devices scanning on all different ports, just whatever. And then you can enforce different versions. I don't really use it, but I leave it on anyway. You can configure VLANs if you want to, do some VLAN tags. So, that's pretty cool. Right here we have some of the ISPs already built in, like, wow, 201 VLAN tag for CenturyLink. Didn't work for me here where I am. And what this will do is it'll allow you to use this as your primary modem and router on these services that require connection through whatever stuff. VLAN tagging 201 is all you'll need. So, like I said, it doesn't work in all markets for CenturyLink, but that's so cool that that's already built in to the router. Over here's our quality of service. You can add a device and say, hey, this device is only allowed to go this fast. That way it doesn't hog up all the bandwidth. Oh, this is really cool. So custom DNS allows you to bypass the hard-coded DNS on the clients. Be like, no, all clients must use this DNS, which is what I would do. So yeah, that's cool. We have DDNS as well. And this allows you to use a DDNS service provider, which essentially, since you're on a home network, you're probably not going to have a static IP. So if you want to set up your home network to be like myhomenetwork.com or youripaddress.com, you can do that. But you're going to need to use one of these service providers. This router will touch base with the service provider and say, hey, this is my public IP. Please link that public IP on the DNS side to whatever, domain, myhost.com or whatever domain name you want. Right here, you've got it set up and you've got it forwarded. And that's how that's going to work. So DDNS goes beyond the scope of this video, really, but there you go. We got static routing, port forwarding over here, 840, I don't know. And then your internal, it's port forwarding. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You know how it works, right? That's just very simple port forwarding, a lot simpler than like OpenSense or whatever. And we have our port triggering right here, which is a little different than port forwarding. It's not ranged trigger. So demilitarized zone, if you need to give one certain thing access to the raw unfiltered internet, maybe like a game server or something, well, you can do that right here. Put it on the DMZ. And then there's your online detection, time to live. You can set up Wake on LAN for stuff, and then your UPnP settings. Do we need to go through all of this stuff? I don't really need the UPnP service, but whatever. Down here's our firewall, and we've got our SPI firewall. You can turn on denial of service protection right there, and still tell it to respond to pings. That's kind of handy. MAC filter, IP filter, so you can have certain devices connected that way. Domain filter, there we go, IP and MAC address binding, bind certain devices to certain IPs based on their MAC. There's our WPS protection. You can set up a Wi-Fi schedule that says, hey, if this is like in your office or whatever, turn off the Wi-Fi at this time. And here's all our application layer gateway stuff. There you go. Let's take a look at that real quick. All right, down here's our system. Not really too many things I want to look at down here. We do have TR069. Now, this is for allowing control of the device from a remote place. Sometimes ISPs will ask you to turn this on. I don't do it. So yeah. Over here we've got our diagnostic tools. We can run a ping, on the WAN or LAN, whatever, and then ping it. 100% packet loss. All right, we can trace route on your WAN, put in your IP host, whatever. I'm not hooked up to the internet just yet. And then you can look up your host names right here. Oh, it's cool. It's got a name server lookup. There's the system logs. Pretty decent and complete little firmware. Like there's, for me, not too many reasons to move over to DDWRT or something, because this does just about everything I need it to do. Can't think of many other things I need. We've got LED control. So this is, because this is basically what I use it for, and I run servers for other things. But the fact that we also have the VPN stuff built in with WireGuard, it's powerful enough to run all that. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to switch this over to wireless access point because I'm using my my OpenSense router as the primary router, and this one's going to be the just a DHCP forwarder, which essentially is what a wireless access point is going to do. So I'm going to switch it over to that and get it set up, and we'll test out the speeds, the Wi-Fi speeds. And there we go. You can see our internet test over here. We're getting the full gigabit right here over Wi-Fi. This device that I'm on right now is Wi-Fi 6, and we were able to get the full gigabit even though this thing is riddled with ads. This is a new computer. I haven't installed AdGuard yet, or AdBlock. Why is this stuff getting through my Pi hole? That's the real question. What? I don't know. These are all Google. Oh, I had to turn on Google stuff. Just yes, because I can't access my own stuff. Whatever. Let's try a file transfer, shall we? All right, file transfer test. Let's see if I got any big files. Something large here. Let's see this Doom the Dark Ages 4K. It's 6 gigabytes. All right, see how long this takes to move. These are better than gigabit speeds. Not quite 2.5, but I don't think I've ever transferred anything over Wi-Fi this quickly. This is amazing. Gigabit speeds are usually like 100, 110, Look at that. Yes. That's blazing fast. I'm curious to see how fast the other networks are. Let's connect to the 5G network, or that 4K file. There we go. Okay. Why is this faster than the what? Why is Wi-Fi 5 faster than Wi-Fi 6? It's ridiculously fast. Now, if you want to get that Wi-Fi 7 and you want to, have the multiple ins and outs, you'll have to have everything on your network running Wi-Fi 7 and running the latest technologies that enable all these things. So a lot of the speeds, this 10.7 gigabits per second and stuff, a lot of that's theoretical, and it's combining lots of things moving around. So I think we all understand that's how marketing works, right? Like, you're not just going to magically plug this in and all of a sudden, 10 gigabits per second. No. But if you have a provider that can offer you 2.5 gigabit internet, then this can throw 2.5 gigabit internet all over your house. So that's pretty cool. I don't really have too many downsides, It does a really good job. I like the firmware. So let me just take a look and see if this, you can install any alternative firmwares on this. All right, so we have a lot of Cudy stuff here when it comes to support with OpenWRT. So it doesn't support OpenWRT just yet, but it does use Qualcomm, so there might be a build for this coming out. I'm not going to say for sure, but they've been pretty cool about it. They've talked about OpenWRT on their actual website. They've mentioned when updates break things and stuff on their website. So it seems like they're pretty cool with open source firmwares, which I also think is a bonus. If we get an update that supports this quad-core, this quad-core, that would be really cool. no guarantees. As it is, I think most of the stuff that I need is going to be just fine on the stock firmware, and I'm only going to be using this as an access point anyway. So yeah, but if you want to use this as a router, I think you'll be able to get by most of the time. It's got port forwarding. It depends on what advanced stuff you're going to be doing. You know, you got some firewall rules you can set up. You got a lot of stuff that you can do with this, as you saw when I was messing with it. So it just all depends on whether or not you really want fancy custom firmware. I don't know, maybe there's something else that, maybe Tomato or something. I haven't looked at everything. So, but yeah, not DDWRT, not OpenWRT yet, but possibly, who knows? Anyway, let me know what you think of this Cudy BE11000. It's fast. I'm going to use it. So yeah, the only videos I'm going to be doing for the next little bit are stuff that I'm either going to use or I'm finishing up because I'm going to be done doing hardware soon. So yeah, this is one of my last, this will probably be officially my last router video, other than routers I custom build myself, but you get the idea. Anyway, thanks for sending this over, Cudy, and let me know what you think of this in the comments. See you there.